Hey everyone, this is our second project and second kind of podcast style presentation. This time we have some slides ready. I'm Stephen.
I'm Alex.
And I'm also Alex.
Yeah.
Today's topic is pretty fascinating. We're talking a deep dive into the 2023 cyber attack on the Heritage Foundation by a hacktivist group called SecurityWeek.
Yeah, it's currently nighttime in the library. Day's been all right. We're pretty ready to go. I think that we're definitely a lot better than last time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we have a lot more ready. So, if you haven't heard of SiegeSec, well, get ready because they're like a self-described collective group of gay furry hackers. And I'm serious about that. They specialize in politically motivated cyber attacks. Basically, if they disagree with you, you're a potential target.
Yeah. And the Heritage Foundation, a major conservative think tank, definitely painted a bullseye on themselves. These guys aren't hitting random corporations just for profit. They're actually making political statements.
Yeah, and that's what sets this attack apart. It wasn't about stealing credit card number or demanding ransom. It was about embarrassment, exposure, and creating political shockwaves.
Yeah, as you can see by the slide right here that we have, who's SiegeSec, we have just a picture of a furry in case no one knows what that is. Off of Wikipedia, we found this as their logo. They don't seem to have an official logo, although, you know, whenever they do an attack, you can kind of discern whether it's them or not by the ooh after every single message.
Very minimalistic.
Yeah.
In its nature.
Exactly. It's loud. It's kind of stupid. It's what they do.
You know, it makes a point. It's kind of
That's
who
one
they
way
are.
to put it, man. Yeah. As we mentioned, they're motivated by political activism, not financial gain, which, I mean, that's kind of interesting. They're known for loud, attention-grabbing data leaks, which definitely are risks. And targets include government entities, conservative groups, and tech organizations. We got this kind of information from BleepingComputer and CyberScoop, who we will reference later along with other sources.
I mean, it just sounds like these people are just a bunch of hacktivists going after big corporations.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's break down exactly what happened. On July 2nd, 2023, SiegeSec posted a notice on their Telegram channel claiming they had successfully breached the Heritage Foundation, so at first people were skeptical, claims like that float around all the time.
Yeah, but then real data started leaking. Emails, internal documents, and not just random junk. Some sensitive internal communication, strategic documents, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't Heritage that raised the alarm. Third parties noticed the leaks first when the stolen files started showing up on forums and chat rooms like 4chan and Telegram.
Yeah, so in case you guys didn't catch that, it happened on July 2nd, 2023. That's pretty recent. It was on the U.S. conservative think tank known as the Heritage Foundation, which obviously their beliefs don't align. The attack type was a data breach and leak, and it wasn't through anything crazy, which you'll find out. The data that was leaked was internal emails, strategic documents, and then some of the discoveries that were made were leaks found by third parties on forums like 4chan, Telegram, not Heritage itself. Nothing new, I guess. And it's the same two sources for these. All right, so now in terms of how the attack actually happened, SiegeSec didn't use any crazy zero-day exploit or ultra-sophisticated malware.
Right. It was actually a lot simpler than that. Most reports, like the one from BleepingComputer and CyberScoop, suggest they exploited basic cybersecurity gaps. Things like outdated server software and weak employee login credentials.
Yeah, they likely used credential stuffing attacks, which means they took existing databases of leaked usernames and passwords, like from previous breaches, and bombarded Heritage login portals, hoping some reused an old password.
Yeah. I mean, kind of comes from things like pretty easy passwords, which is why you want different passwords across different websites and different services, right? And chances are someone did. Statistically, about 60% of people reuse passwords across multiple platforms, according to a 2022 IBM Security report, which would make sense. And it's kind of crazy to think about, but that's also in major corporations like this one, which, sorry, it's not a major corporation. It's it's a smaller corporation, but they still are a target, which kind of goes to show you the kind of people that SiegeSec, the gay furry hackers, want to attack.
But with weak passwords, like that's all it takes. One employee reuses a short weak password, and suddenly your entire organization is wide open for an attack. It's completely vulnerable.
Yeah, once inside, SiegeSec basically did a data dump. They didn't try to quietly infiltrate and monitor communications over time. Nothing over here. They ripped as much data as possible and immediately leaked it to the public.
Yeah, and I think that kind of fits their pattern. SiegeSec has a history of loud attacks, like when they targeted government entities after the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision, which we all remember that. They want the attention as much as the damage.
Well, let's think about it like this. It's hacktivism 101. They want to disrupt, they want to embarrass, and they want to drive media coverage.
Yeah, and just going back to just summarize some of the points we just made, the way that they breached the Heritage Foundation was that they exploited common security gaps, such as credential stuffing, weak password policies, and outdated software vulnerabilities. That's the kind of risks that they exploited, right? And it was through simple hacks, nothing advanced, and there was no malware needed. Yeah. So, go ahead.
So yeah, now we are going to talk about how did this affect Heritage and others. First of all, reputational damage. Even though Heritage claims that no donor financial information was compromised, just the fact that their internal security was so easily breached hurt their credibility.
Exactly, and it wasn't just Heritage feeling the heat. Other politically affiliated nonprofits and organizations started reviewing their cybersecurity defenses immediately after. Because if Heritage could get hit, anyone could.
It's kind of like a wake-up call, For years, a lot of these nonprofits didn't really see themselves as these targets. But today, information warfare is as valuable as financial warfare is.
Yeah, and that's why analysts like those at MIT Technology Review emphasized after this event that organizations of all types, like whether political, non-profit, or corporate, need to treat cybersecurity as mission critical.
Yeah. One thing that really stands out is how low tech this attack was compared to how devastating it was. SiegeSec didn't have to invent some new tool. It was like social engineering basically, and also just, it was a mix of that and a bunch of really low tier tactics. They used the same basic playbook that cybersecurity experts have been warning about for decades.
Yeah, like weak password policies, lack of multi-factor authentication, unpatched servers, boring basic stuff. And it's exactly that kind of laziness that led to a massive breach like this.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic. Organizations will spend thousands on next-gen antivirus, but they won't spend 10 minutes forcing employees to update their passwords.
Or doing phishing simulations. It's always the human element that's the weakest link.
And it's worth noting, this wasn't an isolated event for SiegeSec. They've made it clear that they're actively recruiting and growing. They continue to target government entities, conservative groups, and even some tech companies, depending on the political climate.
Yeah, which means this isn't just a one-off story. It's a sign that hacktivism is evolving, and organizations need to think about cyber attacks not just as technical problems, but as part of public relations and crisis management.
Yeah, cybersecurity today is as much about protecting your reputation as it is protecting your servers.
And when your attackers are groups like SiegeSec who thrive on public spectacle, you can't really afford to ignore the PR side.
Before we wrap up, just a quick shout out to our sources. We put a lot of information from BleepingComputer, SecurityWeek, CyberScoop, Daily Dot, and MIT Technology Review. Highly recommend checking them out if you want to go even deeper into this case and into cyber hacktivism trends in general.
Yeah, we kind of chose this topic for one because it has that aspect of it comes out. It's really interesting, especially if you were to see this on a news article, you'd immediately click it just out of curiosity, right? Because it's kind of almost comical in that self-proclaimed gay furry hackers, the last people you'd expect, are attacking this organization.
I mean, the title itself just kind of stands out.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. We thought it'd be kind of funny, and also because it definitely hits all the points needed for this kind of project. Yeah, we thought that this would be kind of perfect. And also, it'd be kind of fun to talk about. People would actually listen to this and be like, oh, that's an interesting thing that happened in the world. Anything else you guys want to add?
I mean, in the meantime, please use strong passwords. Seriously, stop reusing password 123.
Yeah.
Yeah, and turn on two-factor authentication. It's not that hard, guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. That's all we have today. We'll be back next time, if there is a next time. I really hope not.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.